Few side-by-sides have been met with as much anticipation as Arctic Cat's all-new Wildcat when it was introduced last season. But you know what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, that's shame on me, isn't it? Even though the Wildcat far exceeded our expectations at the new product intro in Barstow, California, I'm no fool. So I secretly reserved my final judgment until I got some real seat time in this baby, both on my own turf and out in real-world side-by-side terrain. Now it's time to pull the gloves off and get real honest about my thoughts on Arctic Cat's all-new flagship side-by-side. This is not the time to pull any punches, just the truth, if you think you can handle it. We were promised long travel, and long travel is what we got. Probably the most obvious trait of the Wildcat is its suspension setup that's not the least bit concealed with bodywork. Double A-arms up front yield an almost unbelievable 17 inches of travel, and they're damped by a set of Walker Evans fully adjustable piggyback shocks that look like they were pretty much swiped right off Robbie Gordon's trophy truck. Out back, an even more impressive 5-link trailing arm design provides 18 inches of travel, also damped by the same shocks as what's up front. The 5-link rear end is striking in its appearance and often leads to the question, why? Simply put, a 5-link trailing arm setup is strong, and it helps keep the tire flat as it cycles through travel this long. It also reduces axle plunge and camber, which can both lead to increased drive shaft failure when you're running really hard. With 17 and 18 inches of travel on tap, the Wildcat can soak up unbelievable terrain without even flinching. Whoops and ruts that toss its competition around like a ragdoll barely upset the Wildcat, and landings that send drivers straight to their local chiropractor in competitive vehicles feel soft and pillowy. Now that any doubts about whether or not this vehicle handles and rides amazing are fully quelled, let's move on to power. The 951cc single overhead cam 4-valve EFI mill found in the Wildcat is exactly the same as the motor found in the Prowler XTZ models. But because the Wildcat has the word wild in its name, more power was obviously needed. 50mm throttle bodies, ceramic coated exhaust, and a high flow intake system bumped the output to a mildly disappointing 77 horsepower. The gnarly growl from the intake and thumping cadence from the exhaust heard while mashing the Wildcat's fun pedal all the way to the floor can be somewhat misleading, and that's really the only complaint we have with this vehicle at all. The Wildcat certainly doesn't feel slow, but what it does lack in power, it fully makes up for in other ways. For instance, the Wildcat is the first pure sport side-by-side to come standard with power steering. 1 lap on a track, 1 mile on the rocks, or 1 afternoon on the trail will make it crystal clear. Power steering rules. The Wildcat requires so much less effort to keep under control and keep straight. The wheel never gets kicked out of your hands and you don't feel like you have to hold on with a death grip, making the Wildcat more relaxing and more confidence-inspiring to drive. The rest of the vehicle is adorned with features that will convince the wife you really did get a great deal, honey. Slick-looking aluminum wheels, integrated doors with lower nets, decent digital gauge package, and slick LED accent lighting all give the Wildcat an already customized feel. High back bucket seats, a tilting wheel, locking front diff, and a high-low transmission give you the ability to tailor the Wildcat to suit any driver and any driving situation. From motocross tracks to trail riding to rock crawling, the Wildcat can truly do it all and do it well with little to no modifications needed. And we can't argue with that. Everyone who drives or rides in the Wildcat absolutely loves it. It's a hit, it's a winner, it's exceeded our expectations, it's never let us down, and with a little more horsepower, it would give us absolutely nothing to complain about. Not bad for its first year in production.